guys, I'm back. I'm back in front of the camera and I'm gonna fidget because every time I lean forward my hair gets a mess. So I'm back in face to face in a video for you guys. You guys seem to really like that, so I figured when I'm discussing different topics it'd be nice to, you know, show my face so that you can see me, and at the same time you get to see Monroe as well, which a lot of you really liked seeing me holding her. So I'm going to try to, you know, when I get positive feedback, I want to make sure I'm doing what you guys enjoy, especially in my videos. You know, you guys come here and take the time out of your day to visit the channel, and I appreciate that you do. So I just want to make sure that I'm, you know, giving you good content that you guys really like and enjoy. So here we are again. Monroe is in the same outfit. It is pouring rain outside, literally. As we speak, there's windows over here, and it's like torrential downpour. So if you hear that in the background, that's what's happening. So here we have little Monroe. She's in her sleeper. It's a Love Baby sleeper. It's a very pale, pretty pink. I noticed in the last video you couldn't even see the pale pink stars that match the sleeper on the blanket. So I apologize. The lighting is terrible because even though it's only like, what, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's not good lighting. I have lights on in here, so you know, there's lighting, as you can see the shadow of the stroller right here because there's a light over on my desk. But generally speaking, it's terrible lighting. I think it's the position of our house and where the windows are in each room, so it's just never good. So you get what you get. I try to share with you as much as I can what she's wearing, because it's not cold outside, but it's definitely damp, and it's not like the greatest weather for the 4th of July weekend. But happy 4th of July to people that celebrate it. If not, no worries. But for those that do, happy Independence Day, which is tomorrow. Today is Saturday. So anyways, I'm back because I have a bunch of different topics that I really want to talk with you guys about. I really am enjoying talking about topics that affect us. And you know, this hobby is ever growing. It's ever changing for all of us. We as collectors are changing as well. So it's really good to kind of just chit chat about these things because it's important topics. They affect us. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, that I saw another channel talking about it, but I'm gonna have a completely different take on it, of course, is, do you allow others to police or influence your collection? I thought this could be talked about in multiple different ways and in different levels of what we're talking about. So let me explain. So what I mean by policing, and this is a term another channel had actually used, and I don't want to mention names because I don't know if they'd want to be mentioned, but I did originally watch this topic on another channel, and I thought it was fabulous. My take on it is probably going to be a little different, mainly because I'm not new coming into the hobby. I've been around a really long time. My history is that, you know, I've been in this hobby for 21 plus years. So I came into this hobby long time ago when it was very new, where there weren't that many collectors, there weren't that many artists. It was totally not mainstream, that's for sure. Like, it's more commonly known that we collect dolls, lifelike dolls of this type of, you know, level of lifelikeness, right? But I have been a collector, the type of collector that I stroll to the beat of my own drum, so to speak. And what I mean by that is that I typically don't choose the popular sculpts. I don't typically choose the dolls that are the most popular, so to speak. And that started off way back in my early years of collecting. Yes, did I like certain things that everybody else liked? Yes. But I was one who always sought out the dolls that were less popular, a little bit more character to their faces, less pretty, less dolly-like. So to me, there's more realism in the sculpts that show more character. So I didn't have anyone out there influencing or, you know, saying, oh, that's not popular, or I don't care for that, and I don't know why some people like this, and, you know, it was also silicones weren't there yet. You know, we were looking at one-of-a-kind sculpted dolls and vinyl reborns. That was pretty much the extent of what was available to us at that time. And over the years, I've just developed my own taste, and whether or not somebody else liked it or not didn't matter to me. It never has. I've never been the person that needed affirmation from others, other collectors. I have always been known to do my own thing. In fact, I thrive on being unique and not having probably what everybody else has. It's always been my goal, is to not have the most popular sculpt. It's just, anytime I acquired a doll that was a really super popular kit, I didn't keep it long because I started seeing them literally on everybody's channels that had a YouTube channel, or everybody posting pictures when I was a part of the Doll Fan Forum. And ultimately, that was just not my goal. I want to have something that's unique, that's kind of all my own. That's also why I really always loved one-of-a-kind clay sculpted dolls. And I still have one that's very special. And no one will ever have one like her. I don't really share her often. That's Amy Webb. But for me, uniqueness is kind of my goal. But getting back to the topic and why I'm talking about it is that I see a lot of newer collectors, newer people that are new to the hobby. They're unsure of where to buy, what to buy, and they look to channels like mine and others to really give them feedback, and therefore it somewhat feels like, you know, there's some sort of policing. You know, if people say, oh, you shouldn't buy this and you shouldn't buy that, I feel like it does influence different collectors, especially newer collectors that are, you know, learning. They're learning what they like. They're trying recommendations that other channels and or collectors are putting out there, you know, what people post. I think it does have an effect on what collectors will then choose to want to invest their money in. And I think that it's not a bad thing. But I certainly wouldn't, you know, if someone said, oh, I wouldn't buy that doll, you know, unless it was like because of bad quality, I wouldn't let that affect, you know, the style of doll that I would choose for myself. Like I said in multiple previous videos, Monroe is not loved by all. She's not everybody's cup of tea. She's she has a very character type of facial expression. So therefore, a lot of people don't like or care for her. Does it matter to me? No, not in the least. I don't mind it at all. You know, I've always said this. Variety is the spice of life. Also, the fact that we don't all love the same things is what keeps it fun. It keeps everybody doing their own thing. And I'm coming here to say you shouldn't allow others' opinions or others' thoughts and feelings about certain sculpts and or dolls to necessarily affect how you choose to buy your own dolls for your own collection. I think it's important to be an individual. You can get feedback from your friends and fellow collectors on like bad experiences. Like I'm one for sure that, you know, if I've had a bad experience with a specific artist, I will share that with my friends because I want them to know about it. I will also share important things with the community if I feel it's really necessary, because it could affect you financially, right? You know, someone that didn't follow through with, you know, the making of a doll, or someone that, you know, sold me not so great work that had boo-boos, I would of course want people to know. So that aside, I think, you know, every collector has an idea of what is realism to them and what level of realism they want to collect. Not everybody needs to have the most realistic, ultra, hyper real doll in order to enjoy it and love it. Some people want that pretty look. Some people want that, you know, at a period of time, that peaches and cream kind of complexion was very popular. It was very light skinned, not a lot of blushing, not a lot of blemishes. And to me, I never cared for it. To me, it wasn't realistic, but for a majority of, you know, the rest of collectors out there, they loved it. That's what they really, really wanted, because it was a perfect, pretty looking doll. That's just not my goal, but there's nothing wrong with others enjoying that and wanting that for their collection. I talk about, you know, my goals over the years have always been hyper realism, always super hyper realism for me. And sometimes that's not the prettiest babies. Let's face it. It's not. It's, you know, sometimes our babies come out bruised and battered. Let's face it, newborns aren't always perfect looking. Some are, but I can tell you that when my babies were born, I have 2 daughters, and one had not a blemish on her. My other daughter came out bruised. She looked like she'd been beat up during the labor process, and I won't lie. You know, it was like night and day difference of the birthing experience for both of my children. So, you know, even though my oldest daughter, who didn't have a blemish on her, or I'm sorry, my youngest daughter, who had nothing, you know, she had no bruises or anything, she was still very new and imperfect looking, if that makes any sense. Because newborns have, to me, my newborns always had that more blotchy, more pink type of complexion for a very long time, until their circulatory systems could regulate and they weren't cold. So they, you know, there was always that bright pinkness to them. So I think for me, when I'm looking at dolls that I love, you know, I want realism that I'm used to. And that's also what we correlate what we love a lot of times, is what we're used to, what we've seen, what we may have experienced with our own children or others that are in our lives. And for me, it's more depth and color that brings realism to me. And that's just truly based on, you know, what I experienced with my own newborns. And everybody's newborn experiences with their children and or grandchildren could be very different. So, you know, saying there's one right type of doll that's super realistic versus another, that's ridiculous. You know, everybody has a different idea of realism. And that's kind of why I say don't allow someone to influence or police. There are those types of collectors out there that feel like they are the dolly police, and what they say is how it should be, and I don't agree with that. I think that people get to enjoy their dolls in any way that they want to, and I want people to understand that, you know, just because another channel might say, oh, I would never buy a doll like that, and oh, I would never have a doll that looks like that, or, you know, whatever it might be, some sort of negativity towards something they don't like, does not mean you have to follow their lead. You can do whatever you want. That's truly what I want people in this hobby to understand. It's whatever you make it to be. And I 100% wholeheartedly believe that you make it what you want it to be. You collect the dolls you want to love and the things that really, you know, pull at your heartstrings. It's very individual. It's not gonna be like anybody else's experience. You know, I look at a lot of my friends and they have different journeys. You know, I have friends I've known for 20 plus years in this hobby. I've known them for as long as I've been in this hobby. And then I've got newer friends that I've acquired along the way, that we all like different things. It really is the fun of this hobby, is to see everybody's journey, which is different. We all take different routes to get to our dream dolls. And we all like different things. Like, I have some friends that have similar silicone dolls. I have friends that only collect vinyl reborns because they don't care for the medium of silicone. Like, everybody is different, and that is truly what this hobby is about. And I really wish people would just allow others to do their own thing without being judgmental. I think that's really important, to do what makes us happy. For me, the hobby is a happy place. I've said this time and time again, and I think that's why I've stuck around so long. You know, when I come here, I need to be happy. I need to have a fun experience. If that goes away from me, so if someone's criticizing what I'm doing or picking at me because they don't like my doll or whatever, I ignore it. It doesn't hurt my feelings any longer. There was a time where it probably would bother me. That's no longer. I'm old enough to figure out, I know what makes me happy. I don't let everybody else affect my opinions or feelings about my dolls. I've even been able to disconnect how I feel about the artist to how I feel about the doll. So if I have a doll that I haven't had the greatest interaction with an artist, or I don't like what they're doing, I can still disconnect those feelings and enjoy the doll that I have by them. And that's been the case over many years. Yes, there are times where it's been extreme enough where I wouldn't keep a doll because it was a negative experience, but for the most part, I'm gonna love what I'm gonna love, and I want everyone out there to do the same. I wanna encourage you, collect the baby dolls that you love. Even if they're not anything like, you know, the dolls you see on our channels, it doesn't matter. You find what you love, because that's all truly that matters. If you love your doll, it doesn't matter if even your friends don't care for your doll. It really doesn't matter. Does it, Monroe? No, it does not matter. And we want everybody to be happy and enjoy our dolls. We want it to be a good experience, which is also why I'm gonna continue to do all positive things on my channel and try to keep things light, right? Like, I come here, I've got limited time now, I'm very busy with work, and I wanna make sure that when people come to visit and see me and see Monroe, that you guys enjoy the experience. So I'm gonna try to put out good information for you guys so that you can maybe learn something from it, or just come and enjoy the fact that we're talking about dolls. That's really, for me, it's just, this is my happy place. She is my pretty girl who I will always love this doll. I mean, years down the road, if she's not in my collection, I'm still gonna love her. She's just so special. And I love my baby girl. Yes, I do. So anyways, that's my chat. I would say do not allow others to police and or affect your feelings, or just don't let people influence your love for whatever doll you choose to have. You know, buy what you love. You can never go wrong if you're buying what you truly love, something that tugs at your heartstrings. Buy it because of that reason. Don't buy it because you see someone else showing a doll is like popular. That's not a reason to buy a doll, not ever. I will never buy a doll simply because somebody thinks it's popular. In fact, I'll run from it. I'm just not that type of collector. I want to be unique. I want to be an individual. That's why I have you. She's looking at me like, Mom, you're crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, guys, thank you as always for joining me. I appreciate everybody that takes the time out of their day to come and sit and watch for any length of time. I truly appreciate you guys, every one of you out there. So I hope you have a fabulous weekend. If you're celebrating the 4th, I hope you're doing something fun, but be safe. And Monroe and I will see you all very soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.